Hello bags, it's Jade. Welcome to a Terraria video. Yes, Terraria. I'm a survival channel. Terraria is a survival game. I don't care if anyone tries arguing with me. I will prove it. But we are going to be talking about console stuff going on today. Finally, the last update, the Journey's End update, is coming to Xbox and PlayStation. Going to break down that news. We're going to go over some other stuff as well. Like what's going to happen? Is it happening with the Switch as well? We don't really have full news about that just yet. But we're also going to talk about possibilities of crossplay. Is that going to be happening as well with consoles? Finally getting the update that hit PC a year ago, over a year ago. And we're finally all going to get it on Xbox and PlayStation. And just how hyped I am as a channel that's not played Terraria properly on this channel for about 4 years. Why I will be returning to Terraria for the Journey's End update on consoles. Do leave a like if you want to hear more about this. Make sure you subscribe for best in survival games news, and let's go. So it was a week ago that the Terraria Logic Twitter account posted that they were going to be submitting the final build for Sony and Microsoft in about a week's time, and they've gone ahead and done it. We've submitted 1.4 for review on consoles. Once approved by Sony, Microsoft will be set to put the update in your hands. Timing of the review process is unpredictable, so we can't give you a specific launch date just yet, but this is the final development step before release. Now I'm hoping some of my regular fans will be like, Jade, why are you covering Terraria, bro? This is some kids game, ain't it? Man, you don't know. If you've never picked up, you never tried Terraria. Terraria is like one of the godfathers of survival games, believe it or not. So many of the survival games you play have absolutely taken some inspiration from Terraria over the years. The game is over 10 years old at this point. It celebrated its 10th anniversary in May. It's been ported all over the place. It's hugely popular on mobile, and obviously on consoles it was really popular as well, just coming after the Minecraft initial success. I regularly put it in my top lists of survival games. It's that bloody good. VALHEIM has absolutely taken huge inspiration from Terraria. It's the game that I most liken VALHEIM to in terms of going exploring the world, having to get resources to advance, and then taking on huge bosses. And that's exactly what Terraria offers. Terraria doesn't have a food and water system like most traditional games. Don't really have to worry about temperature as much either. So it's definitely a survival light game, but it has horde defense. Every single night you will get attacked by zombies, and every so often you get huge waves of creatures that will come and try and attack your base. And that's a big element of survival. 6 years ago, in fact, was when I built my Minecraft inspired Terraria Wall of Flesh. It's absolutely horrendous now, I'm looking at it, but that was pretty big at the time. That was like one of the first videos to get me more than 10k views. And I'm amazed that it's actually got up to 27k views, how rubbish it is. And then after that, I had various episodes that I was doing Let's Plays of back on the day on my PlayStation 4. And of course, that was only 6 years ago. They actually came to consoles about 8 years ago. I was a bit slow. I didn't like Terraria when I first tried it. I was a Minecraft homeboy. I thought Terraria was just a bit too stupid with just being 2D. But I gave it another chance and it grew on me and I just absolutely loved it. So yeah, it might seem a bit strange me saying I'm going to be covering it, but I am absolutely going to be covering it, guys. Now, when the last update came out, 1.3, I was determined to cover that on console too. I did do a few news videos about it, giving you the lowdown of what to expect. And in the end, I do believe I went and actually live streamed it. And that was 3 years ago. That's how long it's taken to get this final update ready for consoles. To be fair, Journey's End was announced in like 2019, then it took a year to reach PC. It's absolutely crazy that's the amount of time in between these updates. I have kind of taken task a little bit with Relogic at times. It's definitely taken far too long to get these updates out. They may be free updates, they may be content that's been delivered after the game's gone on sale, but I still think it's just a little bit too long in between PC and console. But it's here at last, 1.4. So when is it going to hit Xbox and PlayStation? Well, certification normally takes between 1 and 4 weeks. Sometimes it can be a bit quicker, depending on what the update is, but that's usually reserved for games like online services or games that do update a lot more frequently. Games like Ark, Conan Exiles, they can get updates done and dusted in just a couple of days sometimes. So I am predicting that Terraria, if there's no problems, it should be here probably around the 5th or 6th of September. Now that's a date I've just plucked, but given, unless there's substantial issues, I reckon that'll be the earliest that we'll see the game actually arrive on consoles. And then the latest it will arrive will of course maybe be towards the end of September. And that's exactly what they said a good while ago. They said they would get Terraria console version out before the end of Q3. And the end of Q3 is coming up to the end of September. Now, one thing that I don't think people might not be too happy about or might not realise, obviously mod support isn't going to be a feature of console unless they've really changed their minds. I would absolutely love them to add some sort of texture pack support though. Even if it did end up being paid little DLC, as long as it wasn't too expensive. But I still think Relogic could probably bundle a little nice brand new edition of the game with a bunch of texture packs for free. Or certainly give us a little upgrade with a few texture packs to change the look of it just ever so slightly. But yeah, if you're ever expecting mods to come to Terraria, I don't think it's going to ever happen. They are moving on after this. This is the whole point. It's the final update. They're not going to be working on it in the future. Whether or not they're going to be working on Terraria 2 or something completely different, I do believe it'll be something completely different. At least for a while anyway. I think they'll try and branch out, try something brand new, and then maybe revisit plans for a Terraria 2 in the future. There's been absolutely no word yet though about Switch, and they didn't mention the Switch in any of their tweets that they've done over the last few weeks, so I'm guessing there's going to be some longer process with the Switch version. Hopefully maybe it's just a case of them for kind of forgetting, but I doubt it. I reckon the Switch version might not see the update hit for another couple of months yet. And although I've said it's going to be the last update, well, not really. Crossplay is probably going to be the last final thing they maybe add to the game. And obviously some maintenance over the next couple of years, just in case there are any things that have cropped up with new hardware and software and stuff. But yeah, that's the idea. They've said that once they have parity with PC, they'd be looking to instigate crossplay, and that was one of the big reasons they revamped Terraria. The 1.3 update actually changed the version of Terraria that was currently there, and they added pretty much or revamped it to a new version that was pretty much like PC. With the idea being that if the interface is all the same, more or less the buttons with a controller plugged into a PC, same as consoles, you would be able to add crossplay and cross-function support. But there were some issues. They changed developers. It was recently or before then done by 505 for console, and they just had some issues. I think they were pretty slow in getting it done with Pipeworks, the development team that were doing it. Although they were doing a pretty good job, there were some issues with that, and so they moved on and they got their mobile developers to come and do it. So that's who's in charge of these console ports, the same guys that made it work for mobile, which is really good news because they're really adept at making sure these games run on smaller devices, maybe not as powerful. Like I said, if I get any news about the Switch version, I will let you guys know. I'll do a follow-up video, and yeah, hopefully it won't be too far behind the Xbox and PlayStation versions. So the 1.4 update is going to add the Journey mode, a brand new world and character difficulty mode that gives you a little bit more chance to pretty much just play it with almost god powers. You'll be able to duplicate items, you'll be able to control the weather, spawn rates, difficulty sliders and loads. They're going to have the Master mode, which is going to be the brand new highest mode you can play. Bigger and better than Expert. They've got two new bosses. They're going to have the Queen Slime and the Empress of Light. They've got the Beastery. You guys will know about all this stuff if you are a Terraria fan. I'm sure you've watched plenty of PC players talk about it over the years. It's a big, hefty, chunky update. Now, there's a few things we don't know, like how they're going to help with texture pack support. This is something they've added for the PC version. They also added the ability to have mods properly supported on Terraria. Before then, it's always been a case of using third-party websites to use and download mods, but they finally added and opened up the Steam Workshop for Terraria modders to continue playing and making stuff for the game. But yeah, I'm excited. As someone who hasn't actually played Terraria for a good couple of years now, I'm desperate to get back into it and see what's going on with this update. So yeah, I am going to be all over this. I'm going to be doing 100 days of survival. That's what I'm going to be doing with Terraria for sure. And as soon as we get an actual release date of it going live, I'll do some live streams when it goes live in the next few weeks. Honestly, Terraria is one of the biggest, most popular games going behind Minecraft, PUBG, Fortnite, Call of Duty, etc. Believe it or not. When it first started out back ago, like 10 years ago, it was popular. It's one of the first games to breach sort of 90,000 players, more so than Ark, more so than Conan Exiles and DayZ, the games that would follow afterwards. But then it kind of flatlined for a long time on PC. People just liked the game, they carried on playing it, it had good numbers, that's still better than most games out there. And then this huge spike back when the actual 1.4 update hit last year in May, 486,000. That made it like number 6, maybe number 7th most played game on Steam of all time. That's only just been beaten by Valheim recently. 14 million people have downloaded it on PC, nearly 9 million on mobile and around 7.5 million on consoles. That is a huge number. Again, that puts it above games like Ark, Conan and DayZ on Xbox and the PlayStation. So yeah, lots of good things to look forward to. Like I said, I'll give you the news about the Switch version. I'll be there on the day when it launches on Xbox and PlayStation. I'll give you the brand new release date if they drop it. And I'm looking forward to hitting it once more. Check out the rest of my channel for survival games news, and let's go. If you're an old G rat bag, you like Terraria, make sure you like the video. I'll see you rat bags soon.